Welcome to Opinions Like Ales, everybody. Your favorite pop culture podcast where we have opinions and most of them stink. My name is Michael Zampino. With me, as always, is Hilton Price.
Oh, 9 hours away from the nude art show, baby.
A mere 9 hours.
9 hours from the biggest erotic art show in Oklahoma. I am fucking ready.
You get to see...
I get to see the T
boobs?
and the A and the S and the M and the B and the D and the S and the M again and some
like
D and some more D and a little bit more D. But that's the way.
Naked ladies.
Naked. If only. If only it was naked. This is naked everybody. It's hedonism night, dude.
Remember when it was really, really hard to see boobs?
Actually, they're not really all naked.
I know.
There's not.
But it's in the title.
It is at Kane's Ballroom, and there's a no-nip policy.
Yeah, it's
at the
weird
Cane's.
how like the title is the nude art show,
And it's all
and it's
nearly
missing one of
nude.
the named ingredients. It's like a chicken
Yeah.
pot pie.
That's
There's
the way
no,
we. That's
there's
the-
no pot in this pie.
Exactly. That's like our opinion. Oh, our opinions are not like a-holes.
Are they
not
not?
actually?
Not really.
Yeah, that's just a name.
Yeah, it's more like we don't have opinions because we've not seen the thing we're talking about.
Yeah. It's got cool names.
Who?
The host of the names of our guests. Our guest, the host of the Comic Cons podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got Young Master Jules and King Castro X in the house.
Welcome, guys.
We in the building.
What is
Yeah.
up, everyone?
It's good to see you. We did your podcast over at the Impulse Creations. That was super fun for me because it was just such a different environment to do the pod. And I was just I found myself the whole time just being like, this is fun. I'm having a good time, and I was very high. Obviously,
We enjoyed having you guys. I think you guys were actually our first guests as well. I don't think
Oh,
we
right
had
on.
any
Yeah, I
guests
believe
before
so.
you. You guys were our first fucking guests, so shout out to y'all.
it was fun.
And you guys have
I
been.
liked doing it at the shop too. That was cool,
Yeah.
and like cool on them that they let you do it, and cool that it works so well, and like people are in there shopping, and like not a question in the world.
They
as
kind
to
of just
why we're
fuck off
there
and like mind their own, right?
It's wild the level at which they're just like, this is happening.
I'm waiting for somebody to just like whip out their ding or like their ass on cam. I wouldn't edit it. I just leave it there.
Oh yeah, you
Like,
gotta leave it
fucking
there like Teen Wolf.
Ding shot.
And you guys, have you guys been on YouTube since day one?
For the Comic Cons podcast, yes. That's
For
correct.
Comic Cons, because that's been a smart decision. Because that's one thing that I learned late with our show is how many people come to podcasts through YouTube.
Right, right.
So that was just a brilliant move. Just like getting out in the community and recording at the store. That's with our. I like our operation here, but one thing about it is it's kind of spread out. And joining you guys was a great reminder about how easy it can be to just get the basic tools, set up somewhere, and still put out a hell of a good show.
Man, I will say this. So I've been podcasting for quite some time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And one of the first things first, when it comes to a show like the Comic Cons podcast, having the ability, shout out to Impulse Creations, to go to the comic shop to where the people are, like it's a great way to network and get people to check out your shit. So like it's just, freebies all day with the subscriptions, even though we've only got like 2 from Mother. Shout out to everybody at the comic shop. But like it gets you out there. And then I wanted to say as well, man, when it comes to you know what I'm saying? Just the fucking I blinked. I have no idea what the fuck I was saying.
Well, you mentioned how long you've been doing this too, because that's the thing too. You've been in the podcast game for like 20 years or something.
I've been. That's what the fuck I wanted to say. So no, not 20 goddamn years. That's a long time.
I was like, you're not that old yet, are
That'd
you?
be bad. I'm 28.
Since he was a
but
young
I've been in
boy.
it for
Since I
about
was 8 years old.
Young
maybe
boy
about-
Castro X was podcasting.
probably about 7 years. I think this is like 2019. When the fuck was that?
Is that
How many-
it? Oh, I thought it was
Dang,
longer than
dang.
that. It's still good
I was
though, man.
22. Wait, I'm 28 now. That's not 2000.
6 years.
6 years.
That's
6
it?
years.
17,
Yeah.
2017. So you're right there with us
I'm
almost.
telling
I was
people
in
it's
high
16.
school,
Fuck that.
2017.
So what I wanted to say though is like when it comes to fucking God damn it, I blanked again. What were we talking about?
Podcasting for a long time.
You've been doing this.
Been doing it for
you
a while.
mentioned fucking being on YouTube, right? So I
Yeah.
started off recording on my phone straight to SoundCloud, like my very first podcast.
Cool, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've done multiple fucking shows, and the thing that I've learned the most, especially with today's day and age, like this fucking generation, like we like to watch shit and not watch shit for a long fucking time.
Yup.
And it's hard to get anybody to listen to anything, even like fucking audiobooks and shit like that, which are incredible. Like nobody wants to listen to anything anymore. Like
Yeah.
I'm a purist. I think podcasting is fucking audiobook. I'm an audiophile. I feel like that's the way to do it. Shout out to like Kevin Smith and Smodcast and shit. Like that's what got me off.
How
when I
did this
first-
get
Yeah.
made? How
Yeah.
did this get made was
Exactly.
like my my intro to
Gold, baby.
falling in love with
Gold.
podcasting.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like that's how I prefer to consume my content. But today, if you want to hook them, if you want to get them addicted, you know
Gotta
what I'm saying?
get those shorts.
You gotta
get the
fucking
reels.
clips, baby. They want
TikToks.
video. They want to look at you. They want to see you talking. You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
see. My whole thing is I started a podcast because I don't want you to look at me.
Yeah, it's why we've got
Originally, podcasts were a podcast because it wasn't on camera.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember for the longest time,
It was
and
a
I
hope for men like you and me,
Well,
who
and-
should not be on camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got a face for radio, as they say.
I do.
But for years, when someone would say, "Why don't you guys film your show?" I would say, because then it would be a television show, not a podcast. And my brain would never let me disconnect that and go, "You're not doing a podcast anymore the second you film it." And it's like, that's just dumb. You're just having it. It's just another. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta let myself get over that.
Yeah.
But for the
I
longest
agree.
time, I was like, when you're thinking of the purest of podcasts,
It's
you're like,
fucking
podcast is audio
all day, every
Yeah.
day. That's the way to do it. But again, in this generation,
You're not gonna make it.
and it's not even in just podcasting, man. It's just entertainment as a whole. People want to look. They want to see.
Yeah.
If you do a fucking event, like get that shit filmed. You know what I'm saying? I learned that in the rap battle game. Like people, it didn't happen if it's not on camera. You know what I'm saying?
Picks where it didn't happen.
Right. I'm trying to add to, like, my wife, she does comedy shows as well. Shout out to LMAO Comedy. Like, we're trying to really up the production, and that's fucking having a cam out there. Like, there's a lot of amazing comedy shows out here, and a lot of people don't want their sets filmed as well. I get that. But
Sure, yeah.
if they fucking do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like having that option available is going to.
Well, there's also a lot. I'm sorry. There's also a lot to be said about, like, if you're taking enough time to care about how the room is set up so that you can film it, even those who don't want it filmed, they're going to benefit from that, because if you're taking the time to go, okay, the room has to be a certain way, it has to have a certain lighting, it has, there's a lot of things that go into making a good comedy show that people don't realize. Like, so much of it is just, okay, turn a mic on and have a place where somebody can stand and watch you.
Right.
And that's a place to have a comedy show.
stool.
Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't translate, and your show is going to always be tougher. Like, I'll do those shows and sometimes they're fun, but like if you're in a t-shirt shop, or you're in a sports bar, or somewhere where like they've got 25 TVs and you're lucky if they turn off the one right behind you, you're battling with everything else. You're battling with the lights. You're battling with the people that didn't know comedy was going to happen, that just wanted to have a drink. You're battling all of those things. Whereas if somebody takes the time to say, this is a show where people know what's happening, this is the only thing happening, they're coming for this, we've set up the show well, we've lit it, we've done the things that we can do to film it, and then you're gonna have a better show because of it.
I also feel like, just, you know what I mean? As a performer myself, as an entertainer, like, man, it just shows me you respect my craft and what I'm working my ass off to do so much more. If I walk into a show and it's like, it's set up a little bit. It doesn't always got to be that. Like I'm saying, I'm used to the fucking bars and shit like that.
Yeah,
but
like
it's
I said, we'll do those shows, but it's gonna be harder.
right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, and if the bar's not taking a few steps to really help and guide the audience to the event, whatever the event may be, then they're failing you on a certain level.
Well, and that's partially on the promoter too. And we have a lot of talks in the comedy community about what part is on the promoter and what part is on the performer. And there's a lot of, we'll put air quotes, promoters who think, okay, I booked the show, now it's up to you to get people to show up.
There's so much more that goes into it.
That is,
if you want to do this shit seriously, like you can't rely on anybody else to bring business. You like to build your business. You can hope that maybe they're gonna share the flyer, but 9 times out of 10, that's not finna fucking happen.
if
you know what I mean?
if you're relying on your comics to bring your people, you're gonna have no people. Like, it's just, you're gonna have some, but the thing that drives me nuts about it is that the thing you're supposed to do for the show is in the name of the thing you are.
The
promoter.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if you're like, you guys aren't doing enough to promote the show, I'm not the promoter.
Yeah.
I'm the performer.
And another common misconception too is if you are the show producer, you are likely also the promoter. Like,
Correct.
If it's your show that you're putting on, it's your responsibility to promote.
Unless you have a budget for a promoter,
Yeah.
you are the promoter.
Well, I
You're
think that's what makes it easy, especially with us having to promote our show. We had a conversation last week about this is what we
I
need
was
to do.
hoping you were going to jump into this.
This is what we need to do to better our chances of success.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like the comic book swap, where now we have a promoter saying, hey, we have a flyer, we have this, and this, it's easier for us to join in and to make it twice of what it can be.
Yes.
Just because of how simple we're building the brand now.
It's a two-front approach.
Show these motherfuckers you care about your product, and
Right.
then they're going to care about your product at least half-ass. You know what I mean? Nobody's ever going to be fucking fully dedicated in your dream or what you're pursuing. But like, man, if you just show a little bit of care, like other motherfuckers tend to follow
Well,
suit.
especially the ones who try and really make a show about how they're not a hobbyist and how they're, they take it seriously. And like, you're not showing me that. You're saying it out loud, but your actions aren't showing me that you take it seriously. Whenever, those are the things that, like you said, show me you care about. They want us to talk like they're not hobbyists, but they're not, like you said, treating it like a product.
Yeah.
Right.
A little bit of polish will go a long way too. This doesn't
100%.
mean you have to spend hours upon hours if this is something that isn't paying you back already, lucratively. It just means
If it
a
doesn't
little bit
bring you
extra
joy,
work. Well,
Throw it in the trash.
right. Yeah.
People don't think like that, though. I feel like this has become the entrepreneur podcast right now.
Right,
That's
yeah.
what it fucking feels like.
Hey man, I dig talking about it every now
I
and
do
again
as
because
well.
there's a lot that goes into it that people don't always get, especially non-comedians.
Well, good reminders and good course corrections are always important. And sometimes, without bringing these topics up, you find yourselves getting a little bit off the path.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like a lot of this shit too. Like I had to learn, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, on my
Yeah.
own. And the fact that we get to talk about it here openly.
Yes.
I can't fucking talk now. There's going to be other young creators who are going to be like,
That don't have to try as hard.
That's
They-
a fucking gym right there
Yes.
because you know what I'm saying. We had this conversation. They got
Yeah.
to hear it. That's how I picked it up. Is listening to other motherfuckers that did it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
if you're out there listening and you're thinking about putting on a comedy show, don't just go find a friend who has a place that says you can show up. Like, pay attention to, does it have a stage? What direction is everybody seating? How much lighting is there? How much can you change the lighting?
TV behind them, like you said earlier.
Yeah. I mean, like one of the things that I loved about doing our mic that we had at the Fur Shop was that it was a bar show, but there was an upstairs room
Separates.
that's completely separate from the bar, so that the people that aren't there for comedy have the entire lower floor, and then the people who were there for comedy had the upstairs room. And that upstairs room, everything points basically directly to the stage. It's very easy to have everybody's attention directed that way. The lighting works. It's a stage. The stage is lit. It has sound. Those are the things that make having a better show easier, and that's why that mic was so successful until COVID happened.
I will say my favorite live podcast shows I've done, probably my most successful thus far, were all at the First Shop in that upstairs room.
it's a
And
good room
It's just
for
such
it.
a beautiful fucking room for comedy. The
perfect
audience is
room.
close to you. But I will say, Starlight also has that separation going on.
It has
a
fucking-
separate
it's
room.
dope.
It's
the
dark.
stage is lit up. Again, it looks like something you want to look at. Like it's fun. You know what I'm saying?
That's what makes the Starlight such a great spot, and what makes Lynn and Rob such excellent venue owners is they were in the game at other people's venues for so long that when it came time to build their own, because they bought the building, but they kind of gutted it and turned it into what they needed it to be.
Right.
And part of that was because they knew what lighting needs they'd encountered over the years, what stage needs, what they needed to ensure that there was a separate space.
And they're looking at it not from a comedy perspective, just from more music.
Bands, music, DJs, yeah.
But the same things go. Like if you're, nobody's paying as much attention to the band in the brightly lit sports bar as they are in the, say, Starlight, where it's basically everything's pointed directly that way. You have to be looking that way. You're there for that. There's nothing else to distract you.
And if you're setting a venue up, for a good stage show for a band, you're going to hit good stage show for a comic along the way. It's not,
You're going to check most, if not all, the same boxes.
Yeah.
Anyways, we watched a couple of trailers before we got started today.
Yeah.
We watched the Killers of the Flower Moon.
That's one of those things, like, I honestly was getting convinced that movie was not real. Because they'd been talking about making that for so long and them being in Oklahoma that I was convinced it was just a money laundering scheme. And this is how they were passing it off on the public.
See, I had confidence that it wasn't that purely because, A, a Scorsese movie's going to take a minute.
Yeah.
B, period pieces take a long time. There's a lot of setup. They basically had to build a town.
Yeah.
So I was confident that it was real.
So I want to ask. Really
However,
quick.
Scorsese is an Italian name, so you always have to question it.
Oh, wow.
I can say that. I can say that.
Okay.
Being an Italian American,
That's true.
and being full of hate.
Okay.
I want to ask and be honest, really quick. I don't know what the story to the movie is gonna be though. Like, is it fucking?
It's about some murders in Osage County.
Okay.
I believe
Of indigenous women.
during the oil rush. Back in the 1800s.
Yeah, and it's based on a book called Killers of the Flower Moon, which if you haven't read it, it is on Audible.
Is it good?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's very good.
You know
It's-
who wrote it?
Not off the top of my head, but I can find it very quickly.
Testing that ass.
I know, right? I should have had that pulled up probably.
The trailer, I have not been. I'm not particularly interested in period pieces.
Really?
I'm not particularly interested in the oil boom, but the trailer was very gripping.
It was
It was
right?
very,
Yeah.
I'm a
very
big Leo
gripping.
fan as well. Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
You know,
The
I'm in.
cast is excellent.
Scorsese's an amazing director. Like, come on, I'm in. It was very intense. Like
David Gran.
Yeah.
David Gran is the
David
writer.
Gran.
And it seems like one of those movies that no matter whether it is your kind of movie or not, you'll get something out of it.
Right.
Like, I don't doubt that if I see it, I will walk away affected.
Yeah. I don't know. This trailer reminded me of like a Jordan Peele trailer. Just how intense it was. Like
Yeah.
on Get Out, how he paneled to all the people just standing there. And then with this one, can you spot the wolf in this picture? Like, that's what it just
That
made
was
me
great usage of that. I thought.
feel. Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that very much had I didn't quite get that until you said that, but that's very, very good. But I loved what they did with the can you spot the wolves in this picture.
It just very much made me feel like can't fucking trust the white people. Man.
Oh,
Can't
yeah.
trust us,
It
bro. We
was,
ain't
yeah.
shit.
We are talking to a couple of whiteys who really don't trust other ones.
Yeah, it was very much
A
that.
healthy skepticism of the man.
It's like, I can't spot the wolf, but I know I shouldn't trust any motherfucker in that picture.
Yeah. Like if Wolf is just like white guy in a suit, then we're on all
We're
of
on
them.
something.
And it's so valid though, unfortunately. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, I mean, and if you hear that and your butt tingles a little bit, like look inward. It's probably not you we're talking about. And if it is,
make some
look
changes.
inward.
I hope your butthole hurts.
I hope you get shingles.
But yeah, it
Anal
looks,
fissures, maybe that's a good one.
another thing the trailer did well to really build on that intensity was the music really got more and more intense over the course and really kind of peaked and stayed at a peak as it got into that questions and the quick flashes of the different characters. It was-
Scorsese has always used soundtrack and score incredibly well.
yeah.
And that's something I don't feel like we recognize as often as we should in movies or in video games, the intensity of the music that brings in a different feel.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like sometimes I notice, I try to notice in like TV shows or movies when the music comes on or what feeling is this scene supposed to be giving me.
It's so funny how often you don't notice the music because it's so good. It just seems like a part of it. But the second that music is bad, you're like, what is happening in this scene right now?
I wanted to say that's why you're my partner because you pay attention to the score. I'm just a fucking geek. I love the scoring of films
Yeah.
and things like that. Even like one of the corniest fucking scores I've ever heard is shout out to Planet of the Apes. I'm a big Planet of the Apes fan.
Nice.
But like the old like fucking Planet of the Apes scores are just so
Just
overly
one guy on a
dramatic.
keyboard.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
Just one guy on a synth.
Man.
He just has an organ, just so many different.
We just a couple episodes back had on our good our buddy Dustin Howard. He's doing scores now.
Really? That's
yeah.
amazing.
It's really, really cool. Especially to like sort of be able to talk to somebody about like the approach of like because if I've played music for a long time, and the idea of like trying to sit down and like, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie and make music for it, it would be a very different approach from like, all right, let's write a verse, let's write a chorus. It's very, very different.
I've never thought of that either. Like when you get the film, like there's nothing on it. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
artist, like it's up to you to fucking really create the feeling of what's going on in the. So I never thought of that, bro.
Yeah,
at all.
and it's like imagine like you know, those really intense scenes in like a Silence of the Lambs or something, or you know, like now if that music was all of a sudden like,
And I imagine men like John Williams have done it for decades. You know,
he's the king.
They approach it and they have this kind of bag of tricks at their disposal. They understand when they see certain movement or actions on screen, what they can dip into that they know will get a reaction. They have experience.
Yeah.
What if it's your first movie? How do you know?
Right.
How do you confidently know that what you're going to put
like,
up there is not going to be
YouTube
way
tutorial,
wrong?
how to write a score.
But how cool is it with like people who can do that? How
it's
you look at
amazing.
the world?
Yeah.
Like with being podcasters or comedians, there's certain things that I think about or we think about that the normal people
Valid.
don't. Just because we train ourselves to talk this way or to be this way, I feel like
true.
That's what I'm
brings
saying. Like,
an extra euphoric to life.
Absolutely.
Euphoric, is that a word?
Euphoric.
It should be.
You
Euphoria
got
to life.
confused because of the place you worked.
Yeah.
Or the
How dare-
old name.
How dare they?
the fuck up normal.
Go
word.
shop there and give me
Right.
some tips.
Yeah, Dutch. Shout out to Dutch.
Yeah, shout out to y'all. Tip your bud tenders.
Hell
Respect your bud tender. Hell yeah.
But I gotta say, I'm
You're
not
into it, right? Like you're at least intrigued.
It was compelling.
Yeah.
That's what a trailer needs to be. It needs to grab people who may be on the fence or may not have given it a chance and say, "Oh no, you need to give another
and
look."
if you need that extra hook, there's murder.
Yeah,
There is murder.
Murder's a good hook.
I think that's what separates it from like what was that Tulsa King TV show?
Yeah.
I feel like it separates from that. Well, I don't think I watched that one.
I still
I'm
can't
thinking
watch
about
it.
I
the
still
oil
can't bring
movie.
myself to
What
watch
is-
Tulsa King.
What is that oil movie that they made?
who was in it?
There Will Be Blood, or
No, I
No
think it
Country
was
for Old
in.
Men?
No,
I think
that's
it was
not
in
about oil.
Norman.
Fire movie, bro.
I think this was like in Norman or somewhere. Oh, with
I didn't see it.
I don't know,
Well,
man.
Anyway, I was bringing this up to say like this right here feels more like a romantic drama or something of that sort that, like you said earlier, everyone can enjoy this movie. And I feel like it was
Stillwater?
just, yeah, Stillwater. Yeah, and I feel like,
my buddy was in that movie.
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was comparing those because I feel like this is more of a historical tense of like,
Oh wow.
this is how the town came to be, or this is how people got money. And the other movie is similar, but also gives you like a reason to hate, a reason to love, just because people may be lost or things may be happening. So
yeah.
so I feel like that's why this movie will find success, just because of that reasoning.
Yeah.
Stillwater, Oklahoma roughneck Bill Baker.
I didn't know Matt Damon was. I'm a big fucking Matt Damon fan. I like Matt Damon.
I remember this now looking at the poster Stillwater, but that flew so under the radar.
Yeah,
I
that's
kinda
the
forgot
one
that even
my buddy
happened.
Jake is in.
Yeah.
My old drummer.
Wow.
Yeah. My
See-
old drummer turned actor.
Well, Killers of the Flower Moon's got my attention now.
I think he might be in that too. A bunch of people are extras in that.
Yeah. We also watched the trailer for the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's, based on the video game.
Did you guys ever play Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, but I'm very familiar just due
Yeah.
to fucking being a Twitch streamer and playing VR chat. Like all the little kids tell me about Five Nights at Freddy's.
These little kids, man, they can handle some jump scares. Holy shit.
They're into it, man.
Listen,
tough, man.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm a little scared of that game.
Yeah, I still can't even watch. I can't watch Ghost Adventures by myself at like midnight.
Yeah.
But these little kids are saying, "Fuck you, Freddy." Can we cuss on here?
This is
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay. Fuck yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck. Wait, hold on.
You got it all out of your system.
All right, now we got the FCC's happy. They heard a couple beeps. Fuck you, motherfucker.
I feel like this trailer made me feel what I feel like we all felt.
Uh huh.
That was wild. As kids going to like fucking Chucky's. Is it called Chucky?
Chuck E. Cheese, yeah.
Like,
Charles Entertainment
it's what we
Cheese.
all thought. Like these are gonna fucking kill us, right?
Oh
Or am
yeah.
I the only one?
The minute I turn around, it's coming after me.
No.
Oh man, not me. When I
I'm
was
from the hood. I saw scarier things.
when I was
I saw bigger rats in the hood than Chucky.
when I was little, I lived in a super sketchy apartment complex. Yeah, for some reason we were all like, "These rats are our saviors!"
Right.
Like, I was obsessed, and I was like, "They are my best friends. I love them." Oh God, yeah. The characters it was the Rockafire explosion. So I was pre Chuck E. Cheese when we still had Showbiz Pizza. Showbiz Pizza had the original Rock-afire explosion. They were different characters. Chuck E. Cheese came in. They originally worked together for a while. So Chuck E. Cheese all of a sudden just showed up at Showbiz, right? I'm hanging out at Showbiz. Bang, here's Chuck E. Cheese. Ain't that motherfucker from the other shop? Like, okay, now he's hanging out over here now.
Yeah.
Then they split up, and the guy, Chuck E. Cheese guy, bought all the animatronics and just ripped their fucking skin off and made them into new characters. And now that's the Chuck E. Cheese band.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, there's a really good documentary about the Rock-afire explosion.
See, and that's what I find. We were talking about, or I was like, man, I wish I was a vampire so I could live forever or some shit like that.
Just keep watching all this shit happen.
Well, like the early 2000s to like 2010, like you had your reality TV, you had your BET was really popular. Just imagine how many people teamed up, how many people fell out, how many people got famous, how many people are not famous, and just seeing people's story just like evolve and devolve, I feel like would be really dope.
Yeah, that's the thing is we get to see.
Okay, I want to be God. That's what I'm saying. I want to be God.
Yeah, same.
There's
Like, who doesn't have that a little bit? There's a complex named for it.
Right?
It's something fun about seeing a whole story, about seeing how much things can change over time, you know? And
It was really wild how, like, as a little kid, you don't understand like corporate restructuring and shit, right? So it was like all of a sudden Chuck E. Cheese just showed the fuck up, and you're like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? What are you doing here? I work here now. I'm the new guy,
man, well, and I mean, I feel like we're seeing an example of it. Like, with just to take one thing, with a topic I was considering talking about today was the Indiana Jones franchise. I mean, I remember growing up, and that was a trilogy for like most of my life. It was a trilogy that ended with a movie
it was done. Yeah,
called
it was,
Last Crusade.
Yeah, we had it wrapped up and we were satisfied and like
and then they started making more and I'm like, okay, cool. And to see how it changes and to see how perception changes too. Because this was also a trilogy where the second one was by far considered the weakest. And now as we are
I hardcore disagreed as a kid.
Right? Well, but now on the
second one was my fucking favorite.
As we are days away from a fifth one coming out, which is getting, mediocre reviews.
Temple of Doom is like fucking looking like a gem.
Exactly. And it's just neat to see how things change. Star Wars, to throw another big
Capshaw was incredible in that film.
So, fellas,
Kate Capshaw, gone too soon from acting. She's alive.
Actually, I have a question. So, how did you guys feel when the Big Bang Theory show, when Amy was like, "Oh, it's all Indy's fault that everything happened," and they tried to like disprove it? How
never heard that because I never watched that show.
Really?
Yeah,
So
I'm a big hater of laugh track sitcoms.
Well, Amy is one of the characters on there, and her and Sheldon had this conversation, and she was like, "Well, yeah, Indiana Jones, everything happened because of he did something."
Basically, her theory is that everything is Indiana Jones's fault.
Yeah,
I about that.
And he was just trying to disprove it the whole time. And she was like, "Nope," because he was there.
And
so he's like the weird, like a Forrest Gump effect.
Yeah, right. we have to. Yeah, after this, we would definitely have to watch that scene. It's hilarious.
I think it was also in that nothing that he did in the movie truly impacted like the overall storyline of what was going on.
That's been an ongoing meme. That nothing and it's true, nothing he ever does really affects anything. He's just kind of along for the ride.
Maybe they realized that they were like, okay, we're writing him into these like, potentially historical events. Like we got to avoid the inevitable butterfly effect conversations that are going to happen later. Like we got to make sure he's leaving very little impact.
Yeah,
right?
it's like, let's have a historical fiction and then just add one more guy.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's along the way the image of Indiana Jones.
We're going to go from his point of view.
Yeah.
The image of Indiana Jones evolved into a hero at some point. But Indiana Jones isn't really a hero. He's an adventurer. He's an archaeologist.
I would
Was
argue
this Fast
he's
and Furious before Fast and Furious?
Yeah, right. See, it wasn't always about family. Now he's got a kid. He's married.
I would argue. What do they call the people that take artifacts from other cultures and
thieves.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the
colonizer.
One. Yeah, he's a fucking colonizer and a thief, and he's why like there's
so
all
many
those
people are about to be upset as fuck that we're talking about Indiana Jones this way.
Hey, I was obsessed with the Indiana Jones franchise. I adore Indiana Jones, but let's be real.
Listen, Indiana Jones and the Stolen Artifacts isn't even out yet. That comes out next week. They can write.
We are just now scratching the surface process of being able to comprehend that having a whole culture's like artifacts in a museum might not be super chill.
Yeah.
And so the idea that that's most of what Indiana Jones did
Well,
is filled those museums with that shit.
I think it's chill. It's just that a lot of them are in the wrong museums. Is the problem? We just there's a big mix up.
They need to, they need to have their own museums with their artifacts that belonged to them.
It's just a whoopsie. We just got to clear it out.
We had a big diamond whoopsie.
They have their receipt, so we just need to let them have it back.
Yeah,
We
just
had
give it
a
back.
big diamond whoopsie. Absolutely, it happens to everybody
Yeah,
who
it reminds
hasn't been
It
there.
reminds me of that Black Panther scene when he goes to the museum, and she was like, "Yeah, this is from 1800 or 1700 Ghana." He was like, "No, this is from Wakanda."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a great scene too, because that kind of helped like publicize the idea of museums and stolen art. Like, I don't know that it was ever in such a high profile film scene before.
I know, right? And good on them for being like, yeah, we're gonna leave this scene in.
Yeah,
It was a great scene, by the way.
It is.
I thought
such a
so.
damn
Michael
good
B.
movie.
Jordan. My wife hates him in that.
What?
movie.
Really?
But I thought, yeah, she's just like, he has no character. He has no fucking. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's fire as shit in that movie.
character. He's just vicious.
He's
Yeah.
swaggy too. Like, he has a demeanor about him in the film. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
It's subtle cockiness is what
It is. It is.
But what I've noticed, and it's a little pet peeve of mine, is when I notice in movies where some things are not realistic, like when everything was happening.
Now you sound like my wife.
when things were
Oh, you
happening-
mean the movie in Wakanda wasn't realistic?
No, okay. So like after Michael B. Jordan stole the artifact, and the girl was working at the little counter,
Yeah.
she was like, "I'm going on break." Bitch, you don't see all these people in this line.
I think she was a part of it.
You don't go on break right now.
Team though, wasn't she with him?
Yeah.
Part of the group.
Yeah. But she was working
still
at this
funny.
little stand, like undercover.
We're closed now.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Bitch, no, you better get back here."
There's a line
There
of
needs
people.
to be there needs to be 5 more seconds of the whole line going, hey, what the fuck? I've been here for a fucking hour.
Yeah, that's the thing, is she was effectively breaking her cover at that
Yeah.
point, and you need to either show that or some kind of consequence,
Right.
And I hate that, man.
Somebody throw a sandwich at her. Boo.
I hate that shit so much because
Fuck this
those
lady.
those little things can be fixed by a line or two, and I don't mind them. I that stuff never brings me out of it. But and maybe that's just me being dumb. Maybe that's just me being old. Who knows? But
That's what I was
I
gonna
get that
say.
way-
I think I'm just too dumb to catch that shit.
I get that way too. I get that way too sometimes though, where I'm like, I've already suspended my disbelief for flying and superpowers and all this stuff. But yeah, something like that where you're like, that would never happen in a workplace.
and then
You're like, why is that
I'm
the
a fucking
thing?
adult.
Yeah, why is that the thing that stuck out? And you're like, nah, never happened.
but little things lead to big things, man. They get greedy, and then you start seeing bigger things that they try to get away with that break the disbelief. Like, you guys all seen Black Panther 2, for example?
I have not.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it though. But
I haven't seen it yet.
spoilers are good. Go
I
ahead.
didn't like it.
I'm gonna give a semi spoiler,
That's fine.
which shouldn't be a real one, but there's a scene towards the end where Shuri gets stabbed way more than a living person should be stabbed, and she not only continues to live but triumphs. And I'm super psyched. I love Shuri, but. Come on, you need to give me something. You need to either give me some kind of line where she's like, the suit will protect me, or show some nanobots working, or show that she took something earlier that would. You got to give me some kind of little line or something.
Some implication
to cover
that
it.
she's just that strong.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest place where Marvel Phase 4 got real sloppy, was in the disbelief moments, and they did it a lot. And again, it doesn't kill me. I'm still along for the ride
For sure.
But I think it's one of the biggest reasons why so many people are stepping off, is because they're not keeping it as clean.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask
The
you.
Wakandans got their ass beat the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, we won.
Oh well, it's the winning was essentially getting them to agree to stop.
Yeah.
That was it. It was a bit of a weak climax.
Yeah, there was some good.
Like when your cum just fucking drops out and you're like, oh man, what happened?
Bit of a weak climax.
It's not a money shot. It's more of like a food stamp.
You know, and it's just kind of like, you're like, where's my fucking PSI? God damn it.
But yeah.
It's not even white anymore. It's just clear.
There's a lot I loved about that movie, but that the ending was a little weak.
Yeah, the opening scene was great.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It was powerful opening.
Tell me, success rate, all that was great.
Wait a minute. Five Nights at Freddy's. I wanted to talk. I don't want to skip all the way over that.
Okay, what you got?
Have you ever watched playthroughs of that?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, one eye open, but yeah.
I was wondering because you're always very quick to be like, that's too scary for me.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm making sure that the
Where are you
screen's
at on
back
this
a little
movie?
bit, so I'm not gonna watch it in the theater. Fuck that. Scary movie in the theater. I don't care. If
All right,
Jamie
so you're gonna watch
Kennedy's
it in your living room at noon with the windows open.
Yeah, maybe on a smaller screen if possible.
Have you guys ever done that before?
makes
Where
it
you're
less
like,
scary.
I'm gonna watch this really scary movie, but I'm gonna watch it during the day, and I'm gonna open the blinds, and I'm gonna make sure that I have plenty of things to help me not be scared.
So not intentionally. I've recently started collecting VHSs. Right? Never seen fucking Alien ever in my life.
Oh wow.
But I got it on VHS, so me and the wife popped it in. And Jules will tell you in my crib, like there's so many fucking windows, and then my wife won't let me put on curtains for some reason. I don't know why. It's a weird thing she does. But so much sunlight. We tried to pop in fucking Alien the other day, and it was shot so dark. Every scene, like it sucked. It was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that. So we're gonna have to watch it again in dark. But like
Brighten
never,
it
I've
up.
never done
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you do have the projector now. Maybe you can use that.
I do. I can't hook up the VCR to the projector, unfortunately. Yeah, it's sad.
Got to find that adapter. There's an adapter out there somewhere.
That'd be cool.
That's always my philosophy now with any like technology is like, there's got to be an adapter. Someone has made an adapter. It's not often the case though.
Yeah. I just saw Alien for the first time a couple years ago. That's a really good movie.
Really?
Yeah.
It is a good movie.
It's got good jump scares, but it's just a cool sci-fi
It's a
world.
Ridley Scott joint, right?
Yeah.
That's my thing with collecting VHSs, man. Is there's just so many classics I'm getting to go back and look at yet because there's so
Yeah.
many I've missed. Like we just fucking talked about Indiana Jones for like 5 minutes. I've never seen that shit.
Oh no.
Any
Not
of
seen
them?
a single Indiana
Damn.
Jones. Back
Oh,
to
wow.
the Future.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay, listen. Back to the Future for me is a must.
I have the first one
It's a
on VHS.
must
It's
watch.
on my to watch list. It's in the collection.
It's a bonkers fucking movie, and like if you really break it down, it's wild and kind of nuts and
I
stupid.
mean, but it's fueled a generation.
It's
Like,
one of
so
my
many of these films
it's one of
were
my
just-
absolutely favorite movies of all time.
That's the thing with your guys' era, right? Like you guys got so many fucking great movies, so much great music, just culture at its finest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's
Man,
just-
I agree with
that's a lot of-
the music part.
Yeah.
I feel like the music industry took a real nosedive once like the boy band era really took off.
Man, I mean, but there was so much happening.
There is still good music happening.
in
Don't get
so
me
many
wrong.
genres during that time. Like there was so much stuff happening in like lo-fi rock during the early 2000s, in hip hop in the early 2000s,
but what I
in
mean,
techno, in-
what I mean though, is that we had just seen an emergence of good music overtaking music industry norms. Like the fact that the 90s like punk resurgence and like the swing and ska phase and like those things like hitting the fact that Rancid was on mainstream radio on Epitaph Records broke every fucking record industry norm ever. Nirvana changed shit, right? Nirvana made it to where the shit that used to be really fucking hard to find was on the radio, right? And it was basically like everybody said, okay, I know that's what you're pushing to me, radio and record industry, but this is what I want.
Right.
And then that became popular. And then that sort of died when like the Spice Girls and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, the record industry learned how to sort of squash that, I guess. That's how it felt anyway.
Really?
It's like they figured out how to kill it.
yeah.
Well, and that's what I like about your guys' era is how acceptable things were. Like, of course, all the, hate words or whatever, that's not cool.
Yeah, I
But
was going to
just how
say some things weren't acceptable, like,
Yeah.
being gay. And
right. But like how so like for example, there was this PG-13 movie, but it was like in the 80s or whatever, and people were getting beat up. There was like some cuss words in it, and I'm like, This was a PG-13 movie back in the day?
Before they had PG-13, when it was just PG, and R, you had like just one of the guys where there is straight up tits in that movie, and it was rated PG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting how culture has changed. You know, what was acceptable, what was okay to get away with.
Oh, I saw so much that I shouldn't have seen because it was rated PG, and my parents were just like, "Well, whatever." They put the PG on it. It's up to them. It's their fault if you see some fucked up shit.
Yeah, well,
honestly, that's how it felt. Was like they were just like, somebody else put a rating on it, and that says it's okay, so I'm not gonna fucking screen it.
yeah, well,
It's not my fault as a parent.
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
true.
They were so lazy.
Well, and the problem is we never really learned whether or not there was a lot of impact from that, because unfortunately, fear mongering kind of moved us into a place of overprotectiveness before we ever had a chance to really learn what the impact of these different things was.
Oh yeah, my poor mother was terrified of everything, man. I missed out on so much shit because my mom just lived in fear. I was an only child, so she was just like, nothing can happen. And you know, not to her fault. She was just really, really trying to be a good parent and a single parent. So like, you know, not that definitely sounded negative, but it was just like,
No.
It was a product of both the time and circumstances. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff where it was just like, oh no, we're not doing that. And it's like, come on, I'm a kid. Let me do a kid thing.
Yeah, but they were getting messages of that there was so much danger out there.
Oh yeah, like the fucking Halloween candy scare and all that shit.
And we see it now too. It's even worse than
Never
ever.
happened.
90%.
Yeah, I've never gotten poisoned, cut, or anything by Halloween candy.
Well, and the story
it was all fake.
And, yeah,
None of that
'cause
was true.
The
There was no one
that-
hiding.
that-
There was no one hiding anything dangerous in candy. There were no reported cases of anyone getting razor blades or needles or any of that crap.
or the reported cases were found to be false.
Exactly. There was never any true reported cases.
So that was
found.
all a hoax. That was not true.
Essentially, it was all fear mongering
Yep.
until there have been a small handful of cases since then of assholes who got the idea after seeing it.
And where'd they get the idea from?
So do
crazy.
do you think these are like planned type deals? Because like Cocaine Bear, we don't need a Cocaine Bear to be a movie. Because now people are going to give bears cocaine,
Right.
and people are going to die from this.
I
And it's
mean-
like, do the world set things up for us to try so they can pass new laws or do new things?
Now I have a moral quandary because now I have to wonder, should I be upset if someone is dumb enough to give cocaine to a bear and then they get ate by a bear?
I just feel like they earned
That
that.
feels like natural selection.
you earned
like,
that mauling.
but it's the same thing as like people go surfing and get eaten by sharks.
Yeah. And
Do you blame them for going surfing?
I remember when
No, I blame the shark for being a fucking prick.
Right? I agree. All that deliciousness out there.
Go find your own fucking food.
Yeah.
I remember when the movie Joker came out with Joaquin Phoenix, there were people concerned that seeing this normal person transitioned into this horrible homicidal character would encourage others to follow a path, especially in the era of the anti-hero that we're currently in. And on one hand, it's like, almost definitely, there's going to be one asshole. There's millions of us. There's going to be one asshole who's inspired by that story.
Right.
You know? Of course.
I mean, the Aurora shooter
right? Exactly.
dressed like the Joker.
Heath
Exactly.
Ledger's situation.
Yeah.
Right.
I haven't heard of that.
But at the same, well, I
You
don't
need to
think
look
he
into
wasn't
that. That
inspired
was-
by that film, but he was inspired by the character. Because I think
Correct.
the Aurora Shooter was before the Joaquin Phoenix film.
No. But I mean, it was.
But we already know that there was inspiration by the character. So yeah.
That's what I mean.
But
yeah.
but
so we had
but
already
the
seen it.
specific breaking down and building up of the character in the movie is the idea that was people were concerned about. People emulating because a lot of us get beat down.
Well, in
our
reality,
lives, you know?
it's less likely that someone's going to emulate that, which, like you
But
said,
to not
there's-
even get into the argument, of course someone will.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
With the rate of people there are,
but it's
someone
more
will.
an accurate representation of how people are radicalized.
Exactly. And at the same time, it's art. It's a creative storytelling, and we don't put limits on art.
Right.
Because as a people, we're still hoping that creativity will inspire the best of us and not the worst of us.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a chance, but I think it's a chance we got to take.
You're right, because it goes to like the deeper story of like what drove so many seemingly normal people to storm the Capitol of the United States of America. But I mean, just the radicalization of a very somewhat normal person.
Yeah.
And that's a story that doesn't get told enough, is how did it get from point A to point B? Yeah. Where did that divergence? Where did they? Where was the fork in the road in their life, and where And then that's where you figure out how to help people not take that same path in the future. So I think that's where it goes to say, like, telling a story like that Joker, of how that person became that thing. There is value to telling that story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's value to art, and we can't take that
There
away.
sure is, and people should not defund it.
Watch the trailer for the Wes Anderson version of Star Wars. That was weird.
It's a wild
Man, there were so many things in there that seemed like it could have been 100% real. Like the list of the things you have to take. Remember when it was like, whenever you're forming a rebellion or whatever, you'll need lightsaber,
Blasters.
Yeah, blaster. That was like, that is
R2D2.
straight up a Wes Anderson scene.
R2D2 had arms. You guys saw that, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And the shots with everyone standing very still and center frame in every shot. It was.
Owen Wilson as Darth Vader.
That was the best part.
That's wild.
Wow.
That's something.
It was so goddamn good. Oh, man.
Cheesy stuff.
Sometimes you're like, man, AI sure might ruin the world. And then other times you're like, this is fun. I like this.
There's actually go
You
ahead.
got it, brother.
There's actually a movie coming out where the AIs was living with humans, and then they detonated a nuclear warhead somewhere in the United States, and now it's humans hunting these robots, trying to win back the world, so to say.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He was like, we're not going to stop hunting them until they're all gone.
You said that's
you
coming out,
created
or
them. What are you talking about?
Wait, is this just Terminator?
Right.
Kinda.
No, I don't know if it come out. I don't know if it's out
on
yet.
its way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's on its way.
Man, I'm gonna
But
look
it
for
looks
that.
really good.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love a story of stopping an AI uprising.
We gotta release a movie like that every couple years or so, just because they're watching. They're watching and they're paying attention. And if we don't remind them every few
Talking
years
about the AI, right?
that we will put you down, they're gonna fucking try it.
Brought you into this world.
Yeah.
We'll take you out.
That's like I talked a little bit about this last week. How we
no,
didn't.
we're going to lose that battle hard.
We didn't
I don't know
have-
if you all know that yet.
we will not. They're fucking listening. We will crush those cybernetic bastards.
I think they're finna take. I tell my wife this shit all the time. She doesn't believe me, but
We're
I
all
think
gonna-
we're well on the way. I want to get to a point though, right?
They've already made a lot of our jobs obsolete.
Right. That's how they're gonna get us.
I'm for AI advancement, right? I think it's really interesting. I know it can only go bad, but I want to just get to I just want to get to the point where like I can get some fucking cybernetics attached to my shit.
Oh,
maybe a
dude.
bigger robot dick or something like.
I have talked about having a robot spine. My spine is degenerating. I'm gonna probably be in a wheelchair one day. Like I'm like, where's my fucking robot bones?
feel that
I need robot bones. We have the technology. Just give me a robo spine, and
be like
then
Barbara
I'm
Gordon.
good.
Exactly. I'm a huge comic book nerd. How can I not want AI advancement so I can get robot parts? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Well, I mean, if there's a problem, just get Star Labs involved. They'll help. That's their shit.
that's the way.
I feel like knowing my luck, I would get something stupid like a metal butt cheek or just one ear. Like
He can
Extendable
fart when he
earlobe.
farts. It's really funny,
right,
though.
like they only give you the robotic parts if you get into an accident. And
Wait.
all my parts was just shit that didn't matter.
A fart. The funny part is from the fleshy part of your butt cheeks. If you had metal butt cheeks, would a fart cease to be funny? Because it's not going to sound the same. This would be like, whoo.
There'd be nothing to vibrate like that, so there wouldn't be a noise. So
It's like blowing the barrel of a gun.
you would have to have a noise that plays
playing a jug.
when you farted, so people would still know you farted.
And it's robotic too.
And that means
Fart.
that means you could make it anything you want. It could be, the La Cucaracha. It could be
I'm a man. I'm 40.
exactly. It could be whatever you want it to be.
Oh God.
Did you guys see that Key and Peele skit where every name was a fart and every fart was a name?
No.
Yeah, so they're just, this is my, and then they would do like a fart name, and this guy was like, Richard.
Y'all are killing me, man.
By the way, we're very immature.
Yeah, just a little.
Welcome to the show. Anyways, Five Nights at Freddy's looks spooky.
Looks spooky, man.
I don't want to get eaten by an animatronic.
Harrison Ford looks mediocre.
Do we want to touch on that video game? Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about this.
Disney shutting down his $2,500 Star Wars hotel.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that because I would never have 25,000 or 2,500 for one night.
Well,
Did they release pictures of like the hotel, or did it just not? It hasn't been built.
No,
it was open for a year.
Yeah, it was open.
Can we see
and
some pictures of what it looked like inside, though?
The problem is, like you said, the person who has $2,500 for a one night hotel stay is probably not a Star Wars nerd,
Right, that's what I was thinking.
enough to go to this thing, and that's why it was set up to fail. Because the average Star Wars nerd cannot afford this.
And like, you can't have sex in that bed.
I will
No.
fuck the shit out of my wife in that bed.
Oh my goodness.
You will. I mean, we will, but it won't be. It won't be as fun as
I
you
will
want
try
it to be.
hard, Jules. I will try hard.
Now that
I'll
one
make
you could
proud.
super fuck on. That's a fuckable bed.
It looks
Yeah,
fuckable.
that's a
this
really
little
firm
bunk bed-
fuckable bed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
see,
a
I
good
don't-
fuckable bed.
See, I tried to have sex in the shower once. It was like a walk-in shower, and I just ended up slipping everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Are you
I
a
just
fan
knowing
of
that
shower
these-
sex?
Huh?
Are you a fan of shower sex?
No, have you seen me?
I'm not,
my
'cause this-
size. Have you not?
I don't think
This is
anybody
the thing.
really
It's
likes
a
shower
logistical
sex.
nightmare.
I
People that
look
say
like that Bigfoot that you're
That's
talking
not
about.
even the logistics for me. It's like it's just too wet. Like it,
Yeah.
to where it takes away the feel good of the
Yes.
the wet.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you need- yeah.
Same with a pool. I'm not trying to fuck in a pool
Exactly.
either.
Like the idea is cool. But
Exactly.
like the
Movies-
activity,
the
It's
movies
hot,
made us
there's
think we
nudity,
want it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Trash.
the movies made us think we want it.
yeah. No, it's not.
But we don't want
That's
that.
Not the thing.
again, them planting an idea.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know what? Another
It's
movie
not
trope
realistic.
that drives me fucking nuts is the you fuck so hard you fall asleep on the floor
Yeah.
with right next to the fucking bed. That's never happened.
You know what makes me
That's
mad?
never happened. Even if you're like getting so wild that you wind up fucking on the floor, you're still like, okay, now we're done.
Let's get up.
Let's
Yeah,
dry off.
like normal fucking-
Let's fucking mop each other up with a towel
Yeah.
and get on the bed.
Bed's right there. I'm gonna get on it.
Well, what makes me mad is in movies when they have sex and the next morning she's like using the covers to. Bitch, I already saw you naked. Just
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
the
yeah.
Like,
bathroom.
why are you scared?
Yeah, like that's just.
That's for the film.
Did you know the audience is here?
Did you know I had a camera?
The Galactic Star Cruiser. The weirdest thing to me was while you're because it is a hotel. It is not an actual space traveling vessel. So
Yeah,
while
so
you
they
are inside the
misnamed
hotel,
it, number one.
Well, yeah, but number two,
They fucked up there.
to maintain the illusion, instead of windows, they've got these space scenes that play out. But technically, you never see a window the whole time you're there.
Yeah, you're in a cave.
That would fuck me up. I would
so,
not
like,
be okay with that.
That's what I hated about the Wichita Looney Bin.
Yeah, there's no
There's
windows
no
in the condo.
windows in that whole fucking place. It feels
Yeah.
like you're on a set.
I feel like it's people just looking at walls all day.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Looking at fucking walls.
It's like you're on a set.
But like, I mean, is it showing like you going past stars and different shit like
Yeah,
that?
it plays
'Cause, I mean,
stuff.
the illusion would be beautiful. I mean,
Yes.
that's what we do with comic books. We
Right.
imagine this
Escapism.
actually happening.
Talk.
So I think that would be
Oh,
really
look,
dope.
there's a bed where you can fucking two people can be on the bunk beds watching.
Watching you fuck. That's great. That's
Hell
really
yeah.
convenient.
I'm into that.
It's the Jack Shack
Con
over
shit
here.
right there.
That's the thing. At that prices, though, man, the thought of bringing
That's how
children
the cons do
on
it.
something like that.
Oh, no, I would not.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna spill some juice on this $1,300 bed.
Yep.
And I'm gonna have to leave them there for child services
yeah,
because
they're going to be child labor now.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna jizz on that space window. That's all I know.
I wonder what the food is like here, though. Like,
This is
what
the
do they
Milky Way.
serve?
I thought they were supposed to be far away.
That was a sex joke.
yeah, that's what he said.
Oh, what the
Okay.
fuck?
Food
All right.
looks normal.
I mean, it's just a
Normal.
lot of fruit.
Kinda.
This is
it's not
This
some
is
shit
straight
I would
hotel
eat.
food.
I would definitely sneak in some Chinese food.
I see that fat ass sausage though. I'm
Yeah.
fucking for it. I'm fucking for it. Bro.
Hell yeah. I like a good sausage link.
Yeah.
As do I.
All right.
I'll tell you, we stayed. We went to see The Cure last weekend. We stayed at the Aloft downtown in Dallas.
Oh, yeah? How was
and
that?
I will say that they had some pretty darn tasty breakfast sandwiches.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The Silver Skillet was actually very tasty. Their biscuits were
It's right next to
yeah?
Impulse Creations where you get 30% off all.
pre-orders and subscriptions. So make sure you guys check that out.
Oh hell yeah! I love a good organic ad.
Man, you guys touched a little bit on that when we first started talking about the show and your connection to the shop, but a lot of people don't know about comic book subscriptions. It's a really simple thing where you just go to the counter and talk to them about it, and they'll get it set up to where they make sure you get the issue you want every month.
Yeah.
So
I
you
definitely agree. 100% easy, man. You just tell them you want this book on a list. And if you don't know what you want, they have like 50 fucking suggestions for you and mini magazines in which you guys can open up, look at, and then
That
decide.
straight sounded
Hey.
like ad copy.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Well,
I know it was just you were literally just saying that as a fact, but the way it was like it was
that
just
right?
yeah, it was so funny that it just sounded like straight ad
Well,
copy.
It's one of those things because we touched on it when we were in on your guys' show last month or the month before, whenever that was, and because it's really been a thing that I've wanted to kind of be able to talk more about to folks anyway. Because comic books, when I started getting into comics, this is about 20 years ago now, it was such a like dead in the water art form.
Oh, so you were already like almost an adult when you started getting into it?
Oh yeah,
okay.
So like my comic history, real quick. When I was real young, I read some very much comics for kids. I read some Archie, and I read Archie also put out a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic that was based on the cartoon. So not the gritty one that Eastman and Laird were writing, but a kidified one.
Yeah, I remember
And
that
I
one.
read those and I loved them, and that was great. But I didn't get into superhero comics until I was an adult because it just didn't
Same.
feel like it was for me.
Yeah, it's similar for me as well. I actually didn't start reading comic books. I mean, kind of like you. Obviously, I caught some as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't fucking take note of it or anything. But it wasn't until I actually started podcasting that I started picking up comics. Again, Kevin Smith fucking, I was like, he likes this. I like him. I'm going to go read some fucking comics. And then I loved it. You know what I'm saying?
But that's a great thing when someone who you already creatively admire in one field is connected to something else. It's a door in for you.
I mean, that's how it happened with the Amory Wars. Like, I was like, okay, I love Coheed and Cambria. I love their music. I want to see what these songs are all about.
Right.
For sure.
And then it really got me into the comic.
That's fucking awesome.
But when I started going to my first shop frequently, and then they happen to talk to me about, like if you're buying at the time, something like Why the Last Man, when that was first coming out, he's like, I can make sure you get that every month, and you don't got to worry about being here on the day of. I was like, oh shit. And like 9 places out of 10, you're going to get a discount as well. So it's really just the right thing to do.
I think so as well, man. Again, it makes my day so much fucking easy. And if you're a collector, too, here's the big thing. I talk to Jules about this all the time. If you're a fucking collector, man, you're not looking to miss out on a single issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But subbing up.
Because that shit is
helps.
hard to find.
Oh, it's
It
a pain in
is.
the butt.
Man,
Once
like-
that book's gone, like, you don't know if you're gonna
Out
get
of
it
print.
back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
While we were talking about that, I was looking at some of these photos for the Galactic Star Cruiser misnamed hotel. And this picture right here is a good summation of like why it was set up to fail. It's like if you can afford to stay here, you can afford to come here in this fucking costume. That's like, she's gone in a movie quality costume.
Well, I mean, that's what I find cool about like Japan and their culture, or the Japanese culture, is how they embrace the Naruto, the anime, all that shit that people enjoy to
Kawaii.
see, right, for cheap.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't see why Americans we have
I want
to
to go to Super Nintendo World so
Yeah, like
fucking
I don't
bad.
see why Americans we have to overcharge for something people will pay good money even to come see. Like I would pay $200 to stay there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like
$200.
$500.
Like, yeah.
I'd probably pay $500 because it's such a different
right. Just,
experience.
I mean, have complimentary breakfast type shit.
I don't know
so
if I
people,
can pay $500, but I'm
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
$2,500. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, you were glad it was shutting down, and I am too, because it really kill the idea that that's okay. That $1,200 hotel is okay. Fuck that. That's not okay.
See, they
That's
do
simply
That's
not okay.
$1,300 more though.
They do
Yeah.
shit
Than
like that
$1,200.
for the
Oh, this
simplest of
this was
things, though.
25.
25.
You're right. My bad. But 12's not cool. Okay, either.
12 is
A couple
outrageous.
$100, man. I'm sick. the line has to be drawn.
Yeah.
My beef is
There's rich people listening right now that are like, you peasants.
I
They're
would
not,
never-
they're not listening.
No, I will eat you, motherfucker.
Listen, I remember when video games, right, were fucking
$60.
Yeah,
Or for me, it was 60.
Yeah, I caught them shits when it was 30, 40, 50 bucks, 50 being expensive, my
Yeah.
guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then it started sneaking up 60.
Now they just
70,
drop it.
100 fucking, what the fuck is going on for a video
I've
game?
dropped
Like,
normal
$120
game is
on a
dropping
video
at
game.
60.
It's
A normal
insane.
game is dropping at 60
I
bucks
am a
every
poor
time.
man. Like, I work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now with this,
I'm an American, goddammit. I'm poor.
right? But I will go to a buffet and spend like $20.
Facts. It's worth it, too.
Well, we have to.
We're Americans,
Late
right?
stage capitalism. That's why all that shit exists.
And that's the problem is the system has constantly been pushing it, and they learned that they can push it even further.
Now,
and if you think it's stopping here,
Yeah.
man, I wouldn't blink.
Every once in a while, and by that I mean this is the only time I can actually think of this, but every once in a while, a giant mega corporation, because giant mega corporations have a lot of power and sway, especially in the state with which they operate.
Yeah.
Right. Disney's been based in Florida for a long time. They have a lot of power in Florida. They employ a lot of people in Florida.
I know about this.
And now this hotel shutting down had nothing to do with this, but Disney did just decide to pull $1 billion investment out of Florida as a fuck you to Ron DeSantis. And that is beautiful to me.
So who's this Ron DeSantis?
Okay,
guy?
so Ron DeSantis, I'm actually really amused that you don't know who it is, and I think that's
Explain it like it's a
fantastic.
comic book subscription service.
Ron DeSantis is a guy that if you want to go and pay $12 a month, he will take it, put directly in his pocket, and kick you in the nuts.
Oh damn.
He's
governor.
He's the governor of Florida. He wants to be president. He's about to announce his candidacy for the Republican nomination for president. He is arguably more extreme than Donald Trump, while also being slightly smarter and more savvy.
It's terrifying, by the way.
Yeah, it is. He is absolutely terrifying. The one thing that does bode well for us that hate a piece of shit like him is that sadly presidential elections, something like this can get you disqualified from being electable. And Ron DeSantis has a real fucking weird and nails on a chalkboard voice.
Yeah.
And luckily that in debates and stuff, I think will help him not win the presidency of the United States of America. But yeah, he's a real dickhead. He just signed a heartbeat bill, abortion ban with like no exceptions. He just outlawed all gender affirming care to all minors in the state of Florida. He just keeps passing bill after bill after bill. He's banned he banned AP Black History studies being taught in Florida colleges. He's like banning college curriculums and shit. And anyway, he started getting into it with Disney because Disney was like too, quote, woke, because they put out a statement acknowledging that LGBTQ people deserve to exist.
The fuck?
And that trans people deserve to exist. Yeah, and so Ron DeSantis was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna pull your state funding and do this and do that and whatever. I don't remember exactly what he did, but basically Disney since then has been like, oh yeah, you want to see who's really holding the cards here, pal?
Yeah.
And it's been fun to watch.
Because here's the thing about Disney is Disney learned long ago the spending power of the LGBTQ community and how much we will have
Their own spending power too. They within that state, they're like, hey, look,
exactly.
they had that $1 billion investment that was going to be something like 3,000 or more jobs, something like that. So you got $1 billion investment in the state and 3,000 however many employed people who can then feed their family and feed into the economy of the state of Florida.
Exactly.
Fucking gone.
Where can we hear you talk a
That
little
shit
bit
is
more
hilarious.
about this?
Oh, well, you can hear it on Maximum News right here on OLAministries.com.
That's right.
That was my morning radio intro.
That was good.
OLAministries.com.
It's 7:45 a.m. You're here in Tulsa listening to Hilton and the Zamp.
Oh, is that who I would be?
I guess.
The Zamp, like the vamp,
Like the
the
bear.
champ. The Zamp is here.
Like the wild man.
Remember the Muhammad Ali? The champ is here.
I do.
Man, did you guys play a lot of have you ever played much original Nintendo?
I've played some. I'm a gamer, so like I fuck with that shit.
What about you, Jules?
No, so I started playing video games with like Dreamcast, the first
Okay.
PlayStation.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So Nintendo. I mean, we had a Nintendo 64.
Cool.
But yeah, PlayStation and Xbox started coming out when I started getting really into games.
Imagine Dreamcast being your first video
I
game
know,
system.
man.
That's the life. I feel like that's
Like
Man.
yeah.
And it was so boring. I mean, not boring, but the design was boring. It was just gray and like that orange little.
When did the original NES come out?
1985 in Japan.
85?
80, no, excuse me, 1983 in Japan, 85, 86 in the States.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember like it had already been out a couple of years when I was like 8, and I was like, please, 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 please.
Yeah. Castro, you're a retro gamer?
Sometimes, you know what I'm saying. I
Dabble?
prefer, yeah. I prefer newer shit. Like I'm looking at this, and like really, Mario's the one I've played.
Really?
Never fucked with any Mega Man.
I know about Mega Man. I know about Zelda and shit like that. Never played a Zelda game. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
Never played any of the Zeldas?
Nah, looking
Neither
at
of you?
Breath of the Wild
Oh,
and
man.
the new one they just dropped looks amazing, but I feel like I'm cheating the system by not playing any of the old ones. But
Man, fuck
Nah,
that.
don't
man.
look at it like
Play,
that. You jump
see a
in
game
wherever you want.
You want to play it.
That's how I
There ain't
feel.
no rules. Well, I mean, there's rules in you know what I'm talking about.
Are there rules?
In the game, usually.
Oh, in the
think
game, yeah.
in
Like
the
if you
game
get
there's a
hit,
rule
you
or
die.
if I had to pick a favorite fucking retro game, though, it's retro to me. It was
yeah.
on Nintendo 64.
It's retro now. I think it's 25 years might be the rule. Is
I don't
retro?
know what it is with gaming.
Oh, yeah.
But
If there's a rule.
Duke Nukem. You guys ever fuck with this? It's one of
Oh,
my favorite games.
On 64?
Yes, true
That
indeed.
is my jam.
It's one of the most sexist games in the world, but it's a blast.
The multiplayer on that was so much fun.
It's sexist?
It is.
I just
man.
love the
Dude,
shit he
dude,
says.
It's not
Yeah, he's
PC.
like-
Oh. Oh, no.
It's yeah, he's just
Oh, no.
he likes pussy a lot.
Oh,
man.
okay.
He
So it's
just-
like Leisure Suit Larry, but
It's-
Doom.
Exactly.
it's really action movie corny esque. He just says
He's like an 80s hero kind of guy. Like,
he has corny ass slogans like I came to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
That's a good Duke Nukem.
That's stolen from fucking They Live.
yeah, exactly.
That's Roddy Piper
Or
line.
come get some.
Oh, you're right.
That's Roddy Piper.
That's
man.
Duke.
good. That was good.
That's your best impression yet.
It might be.
That got me excited.
So these are cooler than the ones I had to grow up with. So me and my son were watching the OG Teen Titans, and they pulled up on I think it was Terra or somebody, and they were like, "Tell Slade," and then with Starfire, "Eat dirt," and I'm like. The weirdest fucking insult ever. I would just walk to it. You're not even worth fighting at this point.
Right.
Eat dirt.
Eat dirt.
I do that for fun.
I love bad like TV and movie insults.
I do as well. Me and Jules were talking about this a while
Yeah,
back.
and they always say like destroy or annihilate. Like you're trying to destroy me.
I think
No, I'm trying to kill you. Like,
Yeah, but that's what you said. It was OG. You talking about the one before Teen Titans Go?
yeah.
So that when that come out? I bet that was right around when the TV restrictions were tight.
Yeah. Where you
couldn't
and
say
stuff
the
like
word
kill. You know.
Yeah.
So you had to work around it, and by making things over the top, they actually made them less realistic according to I don't know standards, as opposed to the fact that fucking superpowers should have been the thing that made it not believable. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I hear that Teen Titans is good though. I hear there's some really good writing on that original.
Oh yeah, for
original
sure.
run.
It was really good.
I loved it. The theme song is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It'll always stick with you. It's done by a band called Ami Yumi.
Oh
Puffy
yeah.
Ami Yumi.
Yup, I remember that.
Yeah, did you notice it was the English intro and then it was Japanese intro at some points?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
But I'm a big fan of it. They're dope. They're dope. It's a
That-
great show.
That year and a few years prior and after, there was some really good animation coming out for both Marvel and DC, like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Those were
Yes.
really strong
Phenomenal.
shows. And then over at Marvel, they had the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes for, I think, 2 seasons. That was also real solid.
See, the Marvel anime, I don't know how Jules feels. The Marvel animated films haven't really done it for me at all, really. They've just been kind of, except Spider-Man and
Oh, yeah, Spider-Verse.
obviously X-Men. Yeah, Spider-Man cartoons are always phenomenal. The 90s X-Men will forever be a banger with the theme song. Yes.
I was an anime kid.
See what that theme song does. You said you were an anime kid?
Yeah, so I was an anime kid because in anime they did a lot more.
You everything. I've given you everything. That's the song. The same exact melody.
Right.
It's a great song, by the
It's a
way.
good song.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like they got away with more in anime than they did in
I
like.
could see that.
Yeah,
100%.
Like, I didn't know that these superheroes were PG-13 or rated R until I got older, and hang out with Castro. I was like, they kill in these movies now? I thought this was
I'm
just.
glad I was able to bust that cherry for you.
And that was one of the biggest selling points when anime first started breaking over here in the U.S. was how you were going to get animation, but adult stories.
Yeah.
And that I remember when stuff like Ninja Scroll and the first Vampire Hunter D
Yes.
came out, and like people would be like, "Hey, you should check this out," but be warned, it's really bloody, or there's some serious sex happening there.
Yeah.
Both,
Man, the 80s.
Serious sex happening over here.
That's how my buddy
Don't
used to sell
come
me on his
in.
anime. I don't know.
Don't come in. Serious sex happening in here with women. Lots of women. Not me alone.
They're not going to say anything because they're a little shy. Oh, that reminds me of another Key and Peele skit when Wendell was ordering pizza for himself. He was like, "What does everybody want? Do we want cheesy bread?" And it was just action figures. He's like, "Yep, you go ahead and order some cheesy bread." And
If I
then
order some cheesy bread, will you have some?
it was like Claire, and the pizza guy was like, "Oh, Claire sounds cute." He was like, "You don't even know Claire." And he was like, "Yes, I had sex with her multiple times." It was just an action figure.
Man, so we didn't even talk. You guys are going to be doing
Wait.
what?
I wanted to scan through that list real quick.
Of the
I noticed
best
that
NES
it wasn't.
games?
Yeah, I noticed that it wasn't like ranked.
It wasn't ranked. It's just listing 10 of the best NES games. What he calls the 10 best NES games.
So we got Super
Mario
Mario
Brothers.
1 and 3.
Uh-huh.
Not bad. at all.
Hard agree.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda, absolutely.
Okay.
Tetris, gotta put it in there.
Mega Man 3.
Absolutely.
The Guardian Legend.
Not as familiar.
Okay.
Oh, I think I remember that.
See, I've never heard of that one.
Then Mr. Gimmick.
Never played it.
Never heard of it.
Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Amazing.
Pirates.
I never played Pirates.
Bionic Commando.
Ooh, I did play Bionic Commando.
And is there one more? No, that's it.
All right.
That's them.
Wow, okay. So no
That's why-
Metroid.
I didn't push this list. I checked it ahead of time. And
Yeah.
I think Metroid would be on there.
right?
Yeah, there's a few standouts that aren't on there, right? Donkey Kong.
Sure.
No,
Star Tropics was another one that's often considered one of the
What's
best
the
games.
Star Fox as well?
that was,
that was
Super
Super
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
But that game was fucking
That
fire.
is a good game.
I only played the Mario.
I only played Mario on that list.
Remember all the voices on Star Fox?
I'm glad for that because I think if there's anything, if you play something on Nintendo, it should be probably Super Mario Brothers, and I think 1 or 3 is a perfectly fine game. I would personally say 1, but I understand either one.
I have to say my favorite Super Mario game is on the N64. It's a Super Mario World or whatever, where you get to explore.
Super Mario Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Right?
not
Isn't that-
Galaxy. It's the one where you hop through the fucking paintings and shit.
That's Super Mario 64.
yeah. Oh my.
Oh, okay.
God. I spent hours on that game.
Super Mario World SNES is still my all-time favorite Mario.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Love that
I,
game.
I don't know. It is archaic by today's standards, but it is such a tightly made game that the very first one on Nintendo may still be mine. It's just it plays if you distill Mario down to those 3 basic things: run, jump, squash enemies on the head. It does it so well.
Phenomenal.
You know.
You still got to shoot them with fire.
Oh, you can shoot 'em with fire too. My bad. It's a little bit more advanced.
Yeah,
than
you
that.
can
You're
still
just
shoot.
swimming. Just swimming. You know. Man, what do you got? Do you guys have a favorite game? Like, or what are some of the ones that are at the tops of your list?
Yeah, so like I was saying, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360. So
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Were you like a
Def
sport-
Jam.
Oh, yeah.
Fight for
Sure.
New York?
Def Jam New York.
So, Fight for New York is the one I played the most of, but Vendetta, I think
So
was
the first one,
the
nice.
first one was really lit.
That's cool.
It started sucking when they made Icon. That was trash, and
Agreed.
then they just stopped making the fight games. Period.
I was gonna say Fight for New York is definitely on my top list. Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. Like I spent a lot of time playing those as a kid. Like that's when I first had got a PS2. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas will always be a banger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I learned about a lot of fucking music. That and Guitar Hero.
The Call of Duties were crazy when they first started
I
coming
only
out.
played Call of Duty Zombies. I was never a
Really?
Call of Duty guy.
See, Halo was before me, and
wish
I
I
didn't
would've got
enjoy
that.
Halo, but
I had
Call
a
of
chance
Duty
to
was
catch the Halo wave. I just never jumped on it.
Really?
It's not for me. But I don't know.
No sports games?
Not a
No
sports
Madden?
guy.
No NBA 2K?
I like some hockey. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But I'm not a sports guy.
yeah, Madden for sure. 2K, like at 2K10, 2K10 to 2K12 or 13, whatever was great. Madden's always been
2K
decent.
is still my jam.
Really?
Oh, fuck yeah.
NBA Live was my go-to.
Oh yeah, great
Like
series.
18, 19 was great. It wasn't great, but they could be better. Madden, like I said, always been consistent. But my favorite, me and my brother's favorite, were SmackDown versus Raw.
Yes.
By far the best gaming
Those were
franchise.
dope. I think 2007 was the best. SmackDown versus Raw 2007. Do those count as sports games? No.
I mean, pro wrestling
Yeah,
is a sport.
yeah, man. I think they gotta. I mean, what are you gonna put
I
on
would-
this?
Well, okay, then
Action
I think
games?
if
I
you
don't
looked
know.
it up on the PlayStation Store, it'd be
Yeah.
sports.
2K
Undisputed.
literally makes Smack or WWE now
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well. So
Well,
Yeah.
Undisputed UFC. That little
that's an
series-
actual.
Yeah, the EA
Yeah.
UFC trash.
Yeah.
But the
Did you ever play like NBA
Undisputed-
Jam?
Yeah, that was
I
my
played
jam.
NFL Street.
That was
Nice.
like
Oh,
the,
NBA
that was
Street.
yeah, that was
NBA
the
Street.
NFL
Hell yeah.
version of NBA Jam.
I didn't like number 3. NFL
Really?
Street 3
played
trash.
3.
Number 1 and 2 were great. Street ball, basketball
play
was
that.
fun.
Yeah.
With
NFL
stretch.
Blitz was pretty fun too.
That's what
That
that
was
did you guys
fun.
play? What's that game? Blitz the League. Is that what you're talking
I
about?
think no, I think it was
There's
just
Blitz
NFL
and Blitz
Blitz.
2000 in the early years.
Yeah, because Blitz
Those
you
are
were
both on
able.
64.
Yeah, because I
Really?
think Blitz you were able to use the actual NFL teams.
Yeah, I think they still had them. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember it was the one that we played was the year that it was fucking Culpepper to Moss all day long. Vikings, you ain't never gonna lose. It was like the Bo Jackson of the. Remember in the Tecmo Bowl, if you use Bo Jackson, nobody could stop
Oh yeah,
you.
that's like I remember on the first NBA Street, man. I had a Timberwolves team that was always fucking good.
Nice.
Yeah, well, KG at that point.
Yeah.
I
Yep,
do want
Kevin
to
Garnett.
plug really quick, man. You guys know I stream on Twitch and all that.
Yeah.
What I've been playing lately, bro, is through the Resident Evil series.
Oh, no shit.
And I'm such a fucking fan. Resident Evil. I was a fan of the corny ass movies with Mila.
Jovovich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That the girl with the black hair.
Yeah, she looks like a porn star. What's her name?
Oh,
Fucking, can't remember, bro.
Can't
But
answer the
shout
question.
out, man. Keep doing good.
I've
in your
never
life.
seen pornography.
Lying ass. You see, you caught me for a second. I was like, wait, what? But I've been playing through the Resident Evil series, bro, and I've been loving every minute of it. I'm currently playing Resident Evil 5. I've beat 4. I've beat 2.
Man, I remember
6.
being a kid. Like that was one of those games where I've never been good at like first person games, but like I would watch my friends play it, and I would be into it, just like
Just
watching it like a movie. Yeah, yeah. And like some of those were fucking spooky, man.
yeah.
I was a dumb kid.
They were spooky.
I couldn't play games like that when you had to craft shit or craft your medicine or get bullets.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Right.
dumb. I just had
I could
to
watch it though.
Yeah,
I
like,
could watch my friends play it. I could,
There were
but I
certain-
could not. I was like you. Like if I tried to play it, I'd be like, nope, I'm fucking. This is
Yeah,
boring.
I couldn't.
There are certain things about learning how to play games that as a kid I simply just didn't get. And even older games that some might consider simpler, there are so many games that I have come to as an adult and really understood how to play it.
Right.
You're like I got to learn new game mechanics.
Right. And as a kid, it just went over my head.
I get it. I'm not much of a crafter. Crafting's not my thing. Like if you like
That's
fucking
what-
Skyrim, being a blacksmith like this, it's
That's
not
why
for me.
Red Dead. I stopped Red Dead almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because of the crafting, you have to. There's also a responsibility on game makers to make the user experience smooth and fun. That's one
100%.
thing that Zelda. I'm still working my way through Breath of the Wild before I jump on the new one. And the one thing it does really well is the cooking. The recipes in that game is a very simple and pleasant process, and you do it a lot, and that's good that they made it so simple and pleasant.
Yeah, see, but even if it's simple, I'm like, why can't I just pick up a piece of thing and eat it and go on my way?
You can, but if you want better effects, you're gonna have to do something with it first.
Yeah, but why you gotta make me do that?
Well, like they made
Save Hyrule.
they made
To save Hyrule, dummy.
that is true, and not get like sick with eating raw meat.
Because Ganon's being a fucking dick again.
But they made a Dragon Ball Kakarot where it was a role playing game.
Did you like that?
I no, I didn't.
I didn't play it.
Because like you have to go fishing and do like other things to.
Just an open world DBZ game.
I mean, it was cool, but I just want to fight shit and beat Goku. I don't want to be Goku. I just want to,
I don't want to live his whole life.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking balance his checkbooks.
Right.
I like that.
I mean, if I can have sex with Chi-Chi, I am all for it.
I wanted to say really quick before we do move off the
You're
games,
good.
boys. 2 games I gotta add to my favorites list.
Yeah.
My very first RPG I ever played. RPG gaming changed my life when I found this. Oblivion. Shout out to Oblivion.
yeah.
And then one of my favorite stories. It's a corny story, but the soundtrack on it is so phenomenal. And it's by the Square Enix people, same people that do Final Fantasy. So it's like just fucking full of jam packed with story. Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh yeah.
Was a banger for me.
Oh, the
Nice.
Disney one, yeah?
yeah, it ended up being really good.
That's all I've ever heard. I feel like all I've ever heard is that like Kingdom Hearts is a really good game.
I could play if they
I've
released a
never
new
played it.
one now. I'd pick it up as a 28-year-old man and I play it in front of my fucking wife proudly.
It's one of those series that I'm sad I missed because of how beloved it is.
You
now,
should go back.
You know,
If you get time, go back and play it.
The only thing I know is that Kingdom Heart intro, the well-known one. I can't, sing it or nothing, but it was. I think it was on like a J. Cole song or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is this beat coming from? And it was a Kingdom Heart. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever
I was
heard.
hoping you were going to try to go into it.
it goes like this. No.
Wrote a
I
song
just have
about
like
it.
an angelic-
Here it goes. That would be pretty great if you were just like, oh.
That reminds me of another Key and Peele skit.
You mentioned the Twitch stream, and we should probably segue into some picks and plugs. Why don't you tell us where people can find you on Twitch?
So you guys can check me out. I stream every weekend at 1 a.m. and then on the weekdays I stream about 7 a.m. It's King Castro X Gaming on Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, check your mans out. King Castro X Gaming. Get at me. Hit me with the follow, maybe a sub if you like me. You know what I'm saying? But I play all kinds of games. Sometimes I just chat. Sometimes I just hang out and talk about comic books with people or whatever. But it's a vibe as well. Do you want to plug up the con?
Well, you've got another podcast too that we didn't even touch on, right, Jules?
Big
Yeah,
facts.
so Socks On or Off podcast is my personal podcast. And that one, I talk about life events, personal shit, relationship advice, mental health. Just certain things that we as humans go through that not a lot of people have the platform to talk about.
Like,
Or
did it
even-
start with whether or not you sleep with your socks on or off?
No, it's not even that. It's actually, it comes from a question. Do you prefer having sex with your socks on or off?
Off.
Okay,
Fellas?
well, I'm an off guy. Yeah.
Yeah, probably off.
Yeah, and I agree, but you'll get a lot of different answers depending on who you conversate with. But I did talk to this woman, ladies, listen up. She said women orgasm frequently if they have their socks on. So
I'm not as picky about if they have it on. But
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I have
I don't
my
care.
socks on,
I can't.
I feel like a little infant baby boy.
Right, I have such ugly feet, but I still don't give a fuck. Socks are coming off.
It feels very infantilizing to be a nude man wearing socks.
I feel more naked.
I like sucking toes, so I prefer the socks off. I'm a toe sucker, man.
Oh, all right.
Shout out to
See,
my
I'm
wife.
not.
Nice.
See, I overthink sex sometimes. Like people say everything's better when you're high. I can't be high having sex because I'm like, damn, why is she moaning like that? Damn, is she really enjoying this?
I know my ding ding ain't that big. She's lying, bro. I understand.
See, I'm the opposite. Like I have those thoughts if I'm not high.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm not high, I'm like, oh my god, your dick's so small.
Here's the thing. I don't have an opinion whether or not my partner has socks on or off. I'm just glad they're there.
For sure.
That's not a guarantee.
That's most of why I'm not
It's not a
thinking about
guarantee.
that. But I have a choice whether or not mine are on.
Right.
And I'm going off.
But I do want to role play more though. I feel like role playing is really dope.
Like in better in D&D.
Both.
Yeah.
They both sound
Yeah.
fun.
We've been talking about D&D lately, so I didn't.
Yeah, well, I
had to-
mean, just like
Trying to roll a
Yes.
natural 20 on them tits. Is
That's
that
a
a
good
thing?
one.
Is that a
No,
thing?
It is
natural-
now.
I feel like a natural 20, she's automatically getting pregnant. So
Wait,
I
no,
don't know
I mean,
about that.
is natural 20 a thing?
Yeah, nat 20.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
cool.
for D. That's
What's that
auto-
mean?
Automatic hit or automatic success.
That
Well,
was
then,
so,
yeah, I nailed it.
Yeah.
That was so smooth. I forgot you've never played D&D.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, nerds.
Fooled you. I'm here, but I'm here to make jizz jokes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, role playing's that's risky.
Yeah,
Because
but
now you're acting.
yeah, I mean, which is great, because I mean,
What if you're a bad actor though? Hello, I am Kevin, the maintenance man.
I don't know. My shit's always weird, bro. Like I'm overly aggressive and like got this weird vision of myself that's not real. Like I see myself as this monstrous being. I watched a lot of fucking hentai, man, and it fucking.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying? So like in a lot of the hentais, it's always some fucking big burly old man, and like I'm like, that's fucking me. And then I look at my wife and I'm like,
no.
she's an innocent little fucking pretty thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take you. So that's a lot of my. It wouldn't be role play, but I always envision myself as that, and I've expressed it to my like, this is how I see me. So as I'm in your ear, fucking you and shit, not fucking you in the ear, but like I'm in your, I'm just making these just horrific noises, bro, and like that gets me off though, guys. And
I usually try and forget that I'm there.
yeah, I agree. Because how ugly do men look having sex? Like women, when they masturbate, it's so
Something
pretty.
about
They
being
light
ugly
candles.
gets me, though.
They're in the
I
bath.
think but I feel like if I spend any seconds thinking about what I might or might not look like, even if that involves envisioning me looking like someone else, I still have to picture what I look like normally first.
We are seeing two sides of the issue. We are seeing one being shamed or just fucking embracing it. Is what we are seeing.
I'm totally embracing.
Oh, I
like,
feel mostly shame all the time. All the time. I shouldn't be allowed to do
I
this.
apologize
I
every
shouldn't
time
be allowed
after
to do
sex.
this.
Castro, I feel like we got something to learn from you, my friend.
I'm just saying something about, you know what I mean, getting to degrade this pretty little gorgeous fucking innocent God sent, and I'm just this metal ass.
I think I hear my mom
Right?
calling. I have to go home.
And but the best thing is when she wants to be that.
Yeah.
She
Like
does.
like
boy.
you can't
Oh
be
yeah,
that
well,
and
it
she
cannot
doesn't.
happen. Yeah, if
Right.
it has to be
Now
reciprocated.
she's calling the cops. There's a restraining order. Blah
I
blah
just
blah.
don't feel like I was ever going down that path. Like,
That man, we're having a laugh.
Consent first, motherfuckers. That's where we're at.
Exactly.
I agree.
But when the consent is on the table and once that's all like understood, like that's the beauty of intimacy, right?
That's when
there.
you just
and that's
like
really what's underlying
you
layer. of
decide
the
on your
fun
safe
here.
word and you go to town. Have fun. Let's
It's
make a
pineapple.
mess.
The safe word is always pineapple. Just say it. Just
But see-
Pineapple?
yeah, it's easy.
But see, I'm the type of I don't like
Or stop. That's good too.
Oklahoma.
I don't like feeling embarrassed or like in uncomfortable situations. So if I do something and she says pineapple, lip noodle right there.
no.
I'm apologizing.
Hey, listen.
I can't do this
I'm
no
with
more.
you too. I'm with you too. Like the second we
watching
have
a
a safe
movie
word,
now.
if she says the safe word, I'm immediately like, oh fuck.
I didn't expect
What
you to actually
and,
use it.
And then I'm thinking about that for a month minimum.
Yeah.
Make sure it's like your safe word is orange, so she can say the fruit, but you meant the color. So, she's like orange. You're not saying the right one.
Which one?
The other one. Oh man.
New England clam chowder. Red or white?
Right. I would make it something hard and like super
worry about it.
fragile super.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
that
good
would
one.
be the safe word.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Oh man. Socks on or off podcast. Where can we listen to that?
Yeah, so it's only on YouTube at Socks on Off Podcast.
That's very convenient.
yeah. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
YouTube also the place to check out the Comic Cons podcast.
For sure. Yeah. So Comic Con's podcast filmed every Saturday at Impulse Creations, where you get 30% off all pre-orders and subscriptions. We post every Friday.
Give them a quick
as
spelling.
well, we're currently dropping on Saturdays for Skype interviews.
Yes.
The Castro and Jules exclusive podcast will be on Fridays, and then we have ones where we sit down with like comic book creators, directors, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Every Saturday. That's COMICKHANS kids podcast. That's
we
on
go.
all streaming platforms as well as on all forms of social media: Facebook, Twitter,
Excellent.
Insta, TikTok,
All that Comic Con
all
podcast.
of that good shit. Check us out, kids. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Excellent.
They love it. They love it. The kids love it.
And you guys got you've got a great chance to see you guys and catch an awesome festival. You guys are going to be at the Tulsa Comic Swap.
Yeah, June 18th, we'll be at the Tulsa Comic Book Swap. What city again?
So it's going to be in Glenpool.
Glenpool.
all
You know
right.
what I'm saying? We'll be doing a comic book raffle, and we'll be giving away comics through that. And then Jules is actually going to be bringing some comics himself to give away.
Yep.
So be sure to
Where's
stop
it
by
I'm sorry. Where's it going to be located?
Glenpool Conference Center.
Yeah.
So with that, kids, we'll be doing that as well as a fan. Shout out to our fan Caleb, man. First person ever asked us for an autograph. He inspired. He's like, "Hey, are you guys gonna be giving away autographs? I got 5 comics. I want you guys to sign or whatever." So
Oh,
he's
hell
bringing
yeah.
us some comics to sign. Then we have the idea now. Like we're gonna bring some flyers. If you want a fucking autograph from the cons, come see us, shake our hands, maybe sit down at the table, talk to us a little bit during our little live podcast or whatever. And it's gonna be a vibe, man. You guys might pop out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember asking. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
So we might be podding with. Yeah.
That is a hop and a bounce from my house, so I can be there real quick too.
My
I
man.
don't hate that at all.
Yeah, so the address is 12205 South Yoinkin Avenue, Glenpool, Oklahoma.
Yeah, it is just a quick
Yukon,
shot.
Yukon, not Yoinkin, Yukon.
Yukon.
Did you say yoink? I thought that was for real.
Are you
Don't
yoinking
be
my
yoinking
chain?
on
It's
Yukon.
Yukon. I'm sorry, Tulsa Comic Book Swap.
That is it's a beautiful facility out there. It is just off Highway 75, super easy to get to. So I highly recommend if you're in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, or even over in Oklahoma City, hop on them highways and come check it out. Man, I'm fucking ad voice
I know,
today.
man. Have I ever told you the story about the first time I got asked for an autograph?
No, was it by someone pranking you?
No, but
Pulling a goof?
I'm at the OKC Looney Bin, and I get off stage. I had a pretty good set, and the drunkest man in the history of the world comes out of the showroom into the lobby, and he's like, "Hey, you're fucking great, blah, blah." He's like, "I need you to sign something," and I'm like, "Great." And he pulls a $5 bill out of his wallet. He's like, "Let me go get a marker." And my first thought was, "Is this legal?" Right? And he had me sign a $5 bill, right? And then he rambled a little bit more. And then he turned around and then he immediately bought a drink with that $5 bill. And I was like, all right, this is what Scientology feels like.
And in the end, all it ends up being is proof for the National Treasury who defaced a bill.
So fucking funny.
Yeah.
I immediately went up to the bartender and was like, Jay, he just made me sign that $5 bill he just gave you. He's like, are you fucking serious? Anyway, it didn't feel great. When you're like, oh, hell yeah, someone wants my autograph. And then you realize, nah, not really.
Yeah, my first autograph, my brother asked me for mine after he.
Oh, hell yeah. That
Thank you.
rules.
I was high as fuck and drinking a little bit, so my signature is shit, and I felt
That still
so
rules,
bad for
though,
him.
man.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
Most artists, it
That's
takes
so
years
fucking
before their
sweet.
signature is shit.
I love that shit.
They start out signing very clearly, and after a while, they're, oh, fuck it. They'll do anything.
And then they develop a weird thing where you're like, there's not one letter in your name in that scribble you just gave
Right,
me.
I told Castro I need to get like a
Like a rubber stamp.
Yeah, for sure. Just Jules.
Make it easy.
Jules. And I don't want people to think I'm insincere. I just care about you enough to make it look legible.
Yeah.
Because my right hand and left hand looks like it's written the same. Okay.
okay.
So gentlemen, this is bad. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
that's
save
not a-
them
This
from
is bad.
You
yeah,
use
save
stamps
them
and-
and myself from some embarrassment.
Yeah. Also,
you-
no hand cramping.
Yeah,
Stamp.
for sure.
Did we hit all the plugs we needed to? Did you have any more plugs?
Yeah, what are the, any projects you want to talk
anything?
about? Anything else? And if not, I'd love to hear your picks of the week. If you got
Oh,
anything
yeah,
you've
yeah.
been listening to, checking out, reading, something old, something new you want to share with the listener.
Yeah. So I think that's all of the plugs, but the pick of the week is going to be this new Dawn of DC that's going to be happening. There's different stories. More specifically, the Nightwing story. Now, after Infinity or Dark Crisis on Infinity Earth or some shit like that.
I thought you said
Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we
At
go.
first, I
Thank
thought you
you.
said Dark Christ, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah! What's up with this story? I want to hear about this."
Just a black Jesus.
That's
Or just
chosen
really
by,
fucked up.
that's called Chosen. It's written by Mark Millar. You would love it.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, but after this event, the Justice League has came to a conclusion that Nightwing and all these younger superheroes will be a great fit to take over the the Justice League.
Nightwing was Robin, right?
Yes,
Correct.
the first Robin, Dick Grayson, the original Dick, Big Dick.
OG Big Dick Grayson.
Yeah, so it's him, the Titans, Donna Troy, and maybe the Flash if he survives. Spoiler alert for you guys. Yeah, so that's going to be our pick of the week.
If he survives Ezra Miller.
That's a Batman.
Unrelated.
That's a Batman movie.
Yeah.
That's a Batman
Unrelated. Also harming the Flash, though.
right? but yeah, so that's going to be another one. One we're looking forward to is
What about you, Castro? Any picks?
I'm always forever gonna suggest read The Preacher, read The Dark Knight Returns, or read Scene of a Crime by Ed Brubaker. That was my first Ed Brubaker book, and I'm a huge fan of that writer. He's an amazing writer.
That was a Daredevil writer, right? Or no?
Ed Brubaker did do an excellent run on
He has,
Daredevil.
yeah.
Okay.
Rather, okay.
I think he
How
did a
you threw that
Batman-
out there. I'll have no idea. But
Because I only I only know that because he was on the Daredevil episode of How Did This Get Made
I think he
when
does
they did the Ben Affleck
Gotcha.
Daredevil movie.
a really good Batman book as well. I think it is the.
did he do Gotham Knights, Gotham PD? What did he?
I think he's done Gotham PD, but I also think he was the one who made the first Man Who Laughs book as well.
Oh, really?
I bet you're right.
Yeah.
I bet he did
So-
The Man Who Laughs.
Check that out, kids.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, we're
Brubaker,
playing Resident
baby.
Evil. Go
So-
check out Resident
Oh
Evil.
yeah, yeah,
kids.
yeah.
I think that was one of my first graphic novels were Batman, The Man Who Laughs. Or not, The Man Who Laughs,
Yeah.
not Batman Who Laughs.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, Batman the Man Who Laughs is a story about the Joker.
Yeah. And,
Is that Ed
and
Brubaker?
I didn't know that. And it was a really
Yes.
good,
Nice. Good one.
it was a great book. Did you read that one?
Which one?
The Man Who Laughs. Or
The Joker one you were reading?
Yeah.
No, I did
It was-
not.
it was
So I
really
read the
good.
old one with Ed Brubaker.
I think it's the same one. Like they introduced the Joker. He was killing off different important people with the gas, and then he targeted Bruce Wayne.
That
Yes.
cover.
Yeah, that one. That one. It's a great one.
Yeah, art by Doug Mankey, who's another great artist, another great Batman artist as well.
Really quick, one last plug. and
Yeah,
then
go
we're
ahead,
out.
go ahead.
We're
Got a
done.
couple. Yeah.
Soul Tap Podcast, kids. That's the wife's podcast. Go check it out. So let's talk about podcasts also on all streaming platforms. Run that up. Classic Wolf Podcast, Okie Podcast, all the other homies, man. Unloading Meat. Me and Jules recently been hanging out with Jared Raphael, and check him out, kids.
Yeah, he's been growing like a weed. He's doing a great job over there.
That's a hilarious man.
Nice. Excellent. Excellent.
All
Yeah,
right.
he's been making a splash on the comedy scene again, too, I've been hearing. So that's great to hear.
Word. Hilton, what do you got?
Man, let's see. Coming up. Here's the deal, guys. If you're listening to this right now, it's coming out Sunday morning, right? If you're listening to this right now, you missed the Nude Art Show. And you're full of regret. I get it. It's why you're listening right now, because you're like, I need my Hilton. I didn't get him on stage at the Canes Ballroom last night. I need to hear him in my ear holes right now. Don't delay. There is one more Nude Art Show, and you're going to go to it. So right now, I want you to mark on your calendar that at the start of 2024, you are going to look for tickets for the Nude Art Show. And you're going to go to the 20th annual and the final Nude Art Show sometime in May of 2024, whenever Daniel Gulick announces the date. You just got to pay attention. Go follow the Facebook page right now. Just go do that right now. So you will be ready, because you missed last night, and we both know it was incredible.
Yeah.
You know it was incredible. You know you missed. I could have handed you a dildo. Now you don't get that privilege.
No dildos
So
for you.
have to come
No
next
dildos
year.
for old men.
So mark your calendar. You're coming to the Nude Art Show. No dildos.
And you're coming after the Nude Art
You
Show.
just don't come at the Nude Art Show, because that is a
Fuck yeah.
public place, and that's not okay.
You'll go to jail.
You'll
You
go to
will
jail.
go to jail.
Yeah,
I will tell on you.
Keep the cum at home.
I will tell.
In the meantime, I want you to come to my Starlight Comedy Night, the second Friday of every month. Me and host Laura Cook. Happy birthday, Laura.
Happy birthday, Laura! The day we're recording this and out is the day you're hearing
Yeah, the
this.
day-
If you wish
if
her a
she
happy
listens,
birthday
we
day,
don't-
say belated.
She may not listen, but tell Laura you're sorry you missed her birthday. And then come to the Starlight Comedy Night, second Friday of every month. And then make sure you listen to the podcast that I'm on as well. Please check out OK Geek. Check out Stories with Mom. Check out the People Persons Paper podcast. And speaking of OK Geek, and speaking of the Dawn of DC, I've also got a second pick of the week, because the Dawn of DC books have been excellent.
Yeah. Are you caught up to the John Kent?
I'm not caught up on John Kent yet. I missed number 3. I haven't read that yet.
beautiful. Yeah, we're really looking forward to that one. I haven't read, I think, number 3 as well.
Yeah, that was the first 2 were great.
Yeah, for sure.
The eponymous Superman book by Joshua Williamson. I am so into that book.
See, I'm not a big Superman fan, and like Superman Lost looks good.
Yeah.
Superboy looks okay.
Did you read Superman #1?
No.
Try it.
We did
Okay.
read Superman #1.
We did?
Did you?
for
Okay.
Dawn of DC.
Okay.
Did you? Okay.
Actually, I think it was Action.
Yeah, I think it was
Comics.
Action Comics.
Action was good, and I'm on that as well.
Oh no, I think I did.
Action's incorporating more of the family.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Superman has been so good. The art has been good.
Really?
Joshua Williamson on the writing has been good. And he's also doing Green Arrow, which I just read. I loved that.
That's a new series, right?
Exactly. That's a #1.
I'm a big fan of Arrow. Like I loved him on CW, Flash on CW, so I might have to check it out.
I wasn't going to stay on that one, but I read the first issue and I liked it enough that I put it on my list.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Another one that I'm back and forth on because it's been real good. Shazam #1 was really good.
I didn't check that.
Is that following Lazarus Planet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it also very much harkens back to the original kind of Shazam stories that were very kind of silly.
Really?
And still like there's a seriousness, but like the premise is a little silly. Like I'm not even gonna like spoil it, but like the first problem he solves is a little wacky, and you're like, wow, that's kind of weird. And
Yeah.
but it was fun, and it's by Mark Waid, who has always done such a great job of juggling lighthearted and fun while still keeping it grounded in reality and believable.
Yeah. Did you see that Sunday Adventures just dropped the second issue of Ninja Turtles?
No.
Yeah. So, are you familiar with Sunday Adventures?
That's the one that's based on the old TV show, right?
Yeah. So they have a new run on D&D, which I've been picking up, and then I just saw they dropped the second issue of Turtles.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
Cool.
you may have to check that out.
I will. And then the one I just read this morning, tying into what you were talking about, that Titans #1, and I got to say it was great.
good.
It was so good. I'm on board. Really loving Tom Taylor. His Nightwing is also so good. And I'm gonna go push to the other show too. Is I'm gonna do a full review of Titans #1 and a couple other new ones I read this week over on OK Geek, and that'll be out on Monday.
You ever
yeah.
gonna have guests on that show, or is it just solo?
I have a guest idea
Fair
in
enough.
mind. I have a guest idea in
Well,
mind.
I was just thinking this obviously would.
Oh,
These guys would be great.
Oh yeah. Oddly enough, all 3 of you are on my short list.
Hey.
When we start talking
What
guests
am
on that
I
show.
going to talk about on there?
I don't know. Maybe you should read a comic.
Fuck.
Hey, they're great, man. They're great.
No, we'll do Amory Wars. We can do that.
There you go.
For me,
Yeah, what do you got?
Of course, listen to me rant and rave about everything wrong with politics on Maximum News. We are, of course, the antithesis of Newsmax. We are the left-wing answer to Newsmax, if you will. That is myself and TJ Clark. We are going into national and local politics, trying to make sure that we are entertaining and funny, but also proactive, giving you lanes that you might be able to help, things you can actually do. And so really, really proud of that show. It's coming along. And then, of course, anything else on the olaministries.com network, just watch the shows, listen to the shows. And for picks, I started watching The White House Plumbers. It's a new HBO limited series, basically about the Watergate scandal. You have Woody Harrelson playing Howard Hunt and Justin Theroux playing G. Gordon Liddy. And one of my favorite things about it is it's definitely a sort of a comedic take on a true story, which we've seen sort of that's like a newer thing they haven't always done. I feel like the Big Short was one of the first ones that I remember.
Yeah.
Adam McKay did that one. But one of my favorite things, one of the things that really grabbed me at the very beginning was the disclaimer that comes up that says, "This is a true story. None of the names have been changed because basically virtually everyone was found guilty."
Oh, damn.
And I was like, that's fucking great. That's what you're getting into, is like, that they're and it really, really is getting to, they're telling the story of what happened, but also really delving into the ineptitude that surrounded it and how bad they were and how dumb they were and how much they fucked up. And it's really fucking great. Loving it. And then also, I just came back from Texas seeing The Cure on their tour. I've been a lifelong fan of The Cure, and I've since been surprised at how many people have never heard of The Cure.
I thought you were talking about the COVID Cure. I
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
the
that's super
band,
cool.
The Cure. If you've never delved into The Cure, I mean, they have a lot of really famous songs that you probably know but don't know as them. But it was one of the greatest live shows I've ever seen. They played about 2.5 hours because they took one set break. And Robert Smith sounds exactly the same. It was absolutely incredible. Really glad I got to go do that with my wife. May or may not have eaten hallucinogens, and it was really, really fun. But if you've never delved into The Cure, check them out. They're a band worth checking out. A couple of albums if you want like a starter pack. Definitely for me, The Head on the Door, Three Imaginary Boys, which is like the original album with Boys Don't Cry. Disintegration is probably the most popular album. That's the one that has Lullaby and Love Song. Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, also another fantastic one. But The Cure is just a band that has had the longevity they've had for a reason. They're really, really good. And they sort of were able to transcend the genre that they kind of got shoehorned into at first of the Smiths, the Morrissey, the sort of goth, style, I guess. But they've got a lot of radio hits.
Yeah.
And they're just fucking great. They're really great. They have a lot of really sad, deep songs, but they also have a lot of songs that are really upbeat, that are super positive, wonderful love songs. Good shit. Definitely worth checking out.
Absolutely.
That's it. We did a show.
Guys, thanks so much for being on the show.
Oh, of course, guys. Thank you.
It was definitely a pleasure.
And
Hell yeah.
Again, we apologize for how long it took.
Oh no, that happens.
big deal.
Scheduling is really hard when you're a grown up with kids and jobs. And so we definitely understand because we are the same way often, and especially hard whenever you have like a small window in which you can record. You really have to work around that. So
Exactly.
we
Let us
appreciate
know.
you doing that.
Of course. Let us know when you guys want to come back to ours as well. We'd
Hell
love to
yeah.
have you back
Absolutely.
over
And
there.
same. In a few months, you guys will join us again here, we hope.
Yeah, this
Yep.
is fun.
All right.
Absolutely. And for you,
Take it from me. I love you.